So first of all, thank you for taking time to chat with me. Really enjoyed the film.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for taking the time, man.
Yeah, thank you. And so wanted to start by asking, what was your familiarity with Press Your Luck and this scandal in particular before joining the film? Was there any like nostalgia? Obviously, it happened before you were born, but I had some nostalgia for the revival.
Yeah, no, I was a big fan of the show on syndication because I was born in '86. So I think by the time I started watching actual television, I the show had been canceled, but I loved watching reruns of Press Your Luck. I was fascinated by the idea of win big, lose big, And when I found out about this true story, I looked it up and watched the Game Show Network documentary about it and read the screenplay. And I just thought, like, man, this should be a movie. This is like funny and weird and specific, says something about the American dream. It kind of raises questions within a kind of a hazy morality tale. And I thought that this was a movie I would go pay money to see. So I signed on based off that. Little did I know we would get David Strathairn and Walton Goggins and James Wolk and Patty Harrison, all these brilliant actors and crew.
Yeah, absolutely. And, in real life, do you think there's any game show that you could knock out of the park as a contestant?
Absolutely.
Which one?
I want to be on the show Traders on NBC.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
my go-to. I want to be on Traders, and I want to put the same deceptive practices that Michael Larson used in Press Your Luck, kind of maybe being a trader but acting like a faithful, or being a real faithful and having to survive in that snake pit. That would be fun.
yeah, I definitely watched that. But with your role as Michael Larson, I would say you joined, like Deb Patel in Slumdog Millionaire, Rafe Fiennes and John Turturro in Quiz Show as like these great performances as game show contestants. As an
Thanks.
actor, what do you think makes these game show contestants such interesting characters to play?
Well, for one, we were all equipped with good screenplays. I mean, you look at Quiz Show and Slumdog Millionaire and Luckiest Man in America, they got some great writing and specific characters and definitely specificity in the environment too. That kind of helps put you in the place and time. But it's interesting to be on the spot and to have to answer trivia questions. That there's something about even the most intelligent person or the most equipped person under a spotlight or scrutiny, they can kind of fold under pressure. And it's kind of like these politicians who are actually really brilliant, learned people, but if they don't have the charisma or the aggressive bite of another candidate, they can get completely eviscerated in a public setting, in a debate or something. So I think it's funny how Michael Larson was this grifter, schemer, con man who also had a knack for uh, performing under pressure. That could not have been easy, but he somehow pulled it off. And the slightest extra second or half a second, he could have folded the entire amount of winnings, and somehow he gets up to 110,000.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you kind of hinted at this, but I think an important part of The Luckiest Man in America's success is that it never looks down on the protagonist. Michael Larson is never the butt of a joke. Why do you think that this was important to this story?
Well, for one, I've had conversations with people about this, creative folks that tell stories and stuff, and we don't like punching down. We like punching up. I don't want to make fun of Michael Larson. I want to make fun of Elon Musk. You know what I mean? Um, and I think Samir's heart in telling the story was very much that he felt these loving feelings toward Michael. He felt bad for him. He knew that there was something not quite right, and he was searching for love, but settling for fiscal winnings or what have you. And he was also an addict. And I'm over 3 years sober from alcohol and marijuana and stuff. And I look at another addict with great empathy. And I wish I could have grabbed Michael by the shirt and shook him and just said, "Start over. You don't have to do this. You can do something else." But a lot of folks can't find contentment in simplicity or day-to-day regularity. I think he was chasing the thrill, no different than the folks at Enron or the folks portrayed in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, absolutely. And congratulations on that. That's a huge accomplishment. But
Oh, thanks.
something that I've noticed about your career, in The Luckiest Man included, is that you have been cast a lot and seem to have a penchant for playing characters that are flawed and perhaps even a little awkward, like characters like Michael Larson, but they're very charming and endearing. Why do you find yourself drawn to these sorts of roles?
I mean, I could try to think of a cool answer that doesn't indict my own character, but I'm sure I embody some of that as well. I've been told that I'm charming and entertaining to watch, but also I'm a quirky guy. I'm a very outspoken, Christian man who shouts out Jesus like he's a NBA star, and uh, and I'm a very outspoken man about loving professional wrestling. It's funny, both religion and wrestling have this thing of like, it's fake, right? It's like there are things I believe in and love deeply that a lot of people wouldn't, and so I think I am a quirky, sometimes stick out like a sore thumb individual, especially in Hollywood. But you got to have people that are going to play these parts, man. You can't always put Sean Penn in a fat suit. You got to have some guys that look a little misshapen, like myself or John C. Riley or Barry Keegan. I don't think we're classically handsome so much as we can embody these different types of people, and I think that's such a gift. Not gift that I've look at me, I have talent. I mean, gift that was bestowed upon me, just in my disposition of looking this way and being this way. It's fun to get to play those characters.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned this as well, but I think at the core of The Luckiest Man in America is the idea of the American dream. Why do you think that this still resonates, some 40 years after the story in the film happened?
Well, for starters, I think we live in a time where the American dream has become as elusive as it's ever been. Um, I think that we are really in a position where it started off that certain people were marginalized and that they were not set up to succeed. And now I think it's in a place where very soon we will all be marginalized by way of in newly inherited shared disposition and environment. Um, the American dream is going away because our jobs are going away. We're being replaced, and I think people are going to have to get crafty in how they shape the future of their American or non-American dream. Let's call it the life dream, because we all want to live some form of a life. We want to provide for others and for ourselves. God forbid, maybe we even like our job and take a week of vacation a year. Um, we're going to have to get crafty. And in this case, he brilliantly was planning and plotting a way that wasn't really illegal. It was just sneaky. Um, so my message to the world is, hey, I hope you find your own surreptitious yet legal way of the American dream, the life dream. But it sure is painfully elusive right now.